Oh my God. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty!
Hey YouTube, PhatPastor here. How is everyone? Hope this live stream finds you all fine and well tonight. Boy, I've got a story for you guys. As the description says, down in the description, I was trapped at Dollywood. And I'll give you more last Thursday. Reason why I wasn't able to do a live stream, I was out of town. But yes, we got the stream going. Yes, it's got you guys sitting on the toilet. That's what feel. Hey, Mary, Phil sitting on the toilet. Looks like you're sitting on the bumper of a car there. But TMI, brother. Raymond Carrera, how are you, brother? Mr. McFlies is in the house tonight. We were chatting a little bit offline. Yes, we found you, brother. We found you. And got another member online here. Miss Mary Outland. So, all right, we're going to get... Hey, June. All right, we got everybody rolling in here. We'll give everybody time to roll in, and then I'll read out the names. But yes, as the description says, I got trapped in Dollywood last week. I was supposed to come home last Wednesday, and I'll get into the story what happened to make it that we did not get home until midnight Thursday night. It was definitely a test of my patience, I guess, and I think it was just a test for everybody involved. Even all right, Interactive, how you doing, brother? I did not plan to not have a stream last week. It just worked out that way. When I tell you what happened, you guys will understand. And then we'll get into talking. And you guessed it. You guessed it. The pastor got arrested. No. I don't know that might have been easier to get out of than what I got what I got caught in. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that, and then I want to talk about this. This has been sitting on my desk since before I left to go on vacation. All I've done is bound it, done all that kind of stuff to it, and set up the modes and test hovered it. And let's switch to my messy bench. Let me get this out of the way here. But this is, well, move that light. This is the HDzero Freestyle. What? Well, how do I... Pimp Honey, okay. Yep. And all I've done is test hovered it. I do think the camera looks better. Yeah, it is. And I don't care for this canopy though, and of course it come with another. And I don't like that light like that. Yeah, now that's looking better. There we go. So we're going to talk about the Lux camera, which I've got some of them over here after I'm done, and what you can do to get them into regular canopies and so forth. But yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. I was wanting to go by and stream from church tonight and get some maiden flights on the freestyle HDzero, but that didn't work out. Several reasons, but I'll get into my story real quick, and then we'll get into Whoop stuff. I want to talk about the Underground Drone League, or Underground Whoop League, as some of you know that, and the addition of boost in the 75 millimeter UWL class, and what your guys' thoughts and opinions are on that. I've had people message me about that, and looked into it a little bit, but haven't flown it practically. Well, I'm going to get into this story here, and first off, I want to thank everybody for showing up, and thank you for being faithful to the channel, and we are inching up toward 5,000 subscribers, and that's a milestone. It seems like this last 1,000 has taken quite a bit longer than the others, but maybe that's just about where I need to be. I don't know, or maybe that's all the people that want to watch what I put out here. But either way, I'm happy. I'm not doing this for to make a living. I'm doing it because I want to, and I enjoy it. So let me get into this story real quick. I had planned for a while to go with my mother, who has COPD. Y'all probably seen her on the channel one night. My mother, my sister, who is I'm the youngest in the family. I have an older brother and an older sister. My mother, my sister, my two great nephews, which you guys have probably seen them on some of the races stuff, and my sister's daughter, who is blind, but she's 30. Yeah, that's right. That's right, man. Yep, rise up, and that's where I get that rise up and meet me in the air. But one of the meanings of that. But anyway, so we took out. I was basically there to help with the boys. Wanted to take them to their first trip to Dollywood, and because of that, my mother had a Nissan Rogue, and my sister had a Nissan Murano. We didn't have any 6-passenger vehicle, and I have a Jeep, and we decided that it would be better and more affordable just to take 2 vehicles up there. It's only about 4 hours from where I live in Middle Tennessee to East Tennessee to Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, where we were going, so where Dollywood is at. So we go there. We get about an hour away from the house, and my sister's Murano goes into what we call limp mode in the transmission. We pull it over, let it set for a little while. You have to have a special tool on a Nissan to check the transmission fluid. I didn't know this. I own a Jeep. It's been a long time since I've owned a Nissan. And so we let it set for a little while, and she asked me to drive it. And it drove fine. It shifted out, drove fine. Everything was good, no problem. We get probably another 2.5 hours down the road, and a check engine. Yeah. Check engine light comes on, and the car starts decelerating, though the RPMs stay up. And luckily, we were within a mile of our exit off of the interstate. So we pull over, and I'm thinking we'll let it set, see what happens. But with the check engine light on, I was like, well, we will stop somewhere and advance some auto parts, have them check it on the computer, and we started it back. It was still in limp mode and still had the code. We stopped at Advanced Auto Parts in Sevierville, Tennessee, and it had a P1778, I think it was, code, which the person at the, hey Audrey, that's just evil. But so it had a P code. The person at Advanced Auto Parts told us that. Are you guys able to hear Jarvis at all? Is Jarvis coming through on y'all's end? Just let me know, because I don't know. It seems to change around for me. I'm hearing it fine, but I want to make sure you guys are. So from what we understand and what we were told, a P code on a Nissan means it's a permanent code. It's not a good code. And the 1778, I believe it was, said that it was a transmission control module. You're not hearing Jarvis at all? It has a P before the numbers. It was the letter P, like in Papa. Are you not hearing Jarvis? Let me see.
Eyes.
Now do you hear Jarvis? 1, 2. You should hear him now. Let's try it again.
TEKNEEKFPV. What's up, Drommies? Alien mechanical arm green heart.
You guys should hear Jarvis now. Let me know if there's an echo with him or whatever. So, but anyway, the P code, and from what we were told, I don't know, in a Nissan means it's a permanent code, and Nissan does that because it's serious. And if you know anything about modern Nissans, that the transmission that they have in those, I forget what it's called.
I hear him. Heard him.
Good. And they're just bad transmissions. I mean, Nissans have been sued and all of that, and she only had like 90,000 miles on it, and we decided to take it and get the transmission fluid changed. We stopped by Valvoline Instant Oil. Anyway, got that changed, and called a guy local there once we got to the hotel room. Called a guy and dropped it off at a transmission place, and he was going to look at it and see if he could fix it and adjust it or whatever. Long story short, he says
my car is running now.
Good. He says that that he couldn't fix it, but he removed the code, and that she needed to trade it as soon as possible, because it could go another 20,000 miles, or it could not go 10 more miles. So we piled everybody up in one vehicle, and got someone else to drive, because we had 6 people in a Nissan Rogue, and we went to Dollywood for the days because the boys wanted to go to Dollywood. So we went to Dollywood, had a good long day at Dollywood, long tiring day at Dollywood. We get back out probably around 9 o'clock in the parking lot, big parking lot. Got to ride the trolley bus all the way to the car, and we get there and got the boys in one of those fold-up wagons, and my mother's freezing. And my sister, who was carrying the key fob in her fanny pack, gets to looking for it and makes this face like, oh no. And she looks at me and she says, I've lost the key fob somewhere in the park. So I literally take about at least a mile walk back to Lost and Found. They didn't have it. They give us the number to a locksmith. And, you know, modern day locksmiths can program a key fob. Of course, they come out at 10 o'clock at night on a Tuesday night in the Dollywood parking lot. They hear cha-ching, you know, when that call comes in, and we persist for about an hour. He breaks into the car. Luckily, my mother and the boys get in the car and warm up. It wasn't that cold, but it was mountain cold. So it's been probably a good hour and a half. This guy says he tries to program 20 different key fobs. If you guys are in that area and you deal with on the spot, I believe
Could you please turn Jarvis down a little?
Turn Jarvis down a little. Yes, I can. Make him talk again. And you can tell me if that's enough. Turn him down probably about 15%. Let's just see.
Text green game over. Thank you.
Turn him down a little bit more. Let's see, was that better, or I turned it down even more? Let's see.
Face green smiling.
Is that good? Let me know if it needs to go down a little bit more. I can turn him down a little bit more. Just say down, please.
That works, Marty.
All right, good. So, anyway, the dude commits to trying to program, literally, he told my mother, 20 different key fobs. And no bueno. Nothing would work. So, here we are with the security's there now from Dollywood. Everybody's gone. We're stuck. We've got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and my 70-year-old mother, my 50-something-year-old sister, and my 30-year-old niece that's blind, and we're trying to figure out how to get them home. Because remember, one of them, the 5-year-old, rode just in a regular car seat. I mean, just in a regular seat belt. There wasn't room for a car seat in one car. You know, ghetto, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. So, look, we finally found a Uber. A guy, if you're ever in that area, Gary was his name. He's a great guy. Come out in a full-size Dodge Ram club cab and threw the stuff on the back of the truck, and we all piled in, 7 of us now, inside his truck. And he takes us back to the hotel room. So we're back at the hotel room. No car at all. The locksmith said that it had to be a factory key fob. Well, the only other person that had a factory key fob for my mom's car was me, and it's back at the house here, 4 hours away. We contact one of the deacons of the church, and he brings it out the next day, Wednesday morning, which we were supposed to be leaving. We had to end up getting a room for another night because we still don't have my sister's car back. The guy that was supposed to fix it couldn't fix it, but he said that you need to come by and get it and trade it, sell it, whatever you can, as soon as possible before that light comes back on. So, leave my mother and my sister at the hotel room when the deacon gets there, and I've got the factory key fob in my hand, and he takes me out to Dollywood. After some coercion, they let us in, and no bueno. When he tried to program the other key fobs, he said that he erased the ones that was on it, and he would have to reprogram the factory key fob. So to call him back out, I wait 5 hours. He comes out and he's not able to do it. At this time, we strongly suspect that he has burned up the computer brain in the car.
Never been.
Yeah. Dollywood's a good place to go if you've never been. It's fun, but I have roadside for anything that I'm driving. So we put it on a wrecker, and we have it towed to Knoxville, which is still probably a good solid hour from where we were.
What a flippin' headache, man.
Yeah. While I was gone, I was sitting 5 hours and had to walk a mile. They wouldn't let me in the park, so I had to go to the outside of the park. I'd have to walk a mile to go pee and a mile back. And there's no going in the woods because where the parking lot's at, there's like mountainside on either side, and there's no leaves there. And this fat boy get halfway up, third of the way up that hill, and I'd come rolling back down. So we thought it'd be a few hours, but I ended up being there over 5.5 hours, and got it on a flatbed right before dark, hauled to Knoxville. The deacon of the church rides back with me. He just came to drop the key fob off. Now we have a choice. Do we rent a car? He took my sister back to get her Murano, which was running and had the check engine light turned off.
I'd pee myself.
No, I just walked to the bathroom. But yes, it definitely was a headache. So we had two choices. We could put the kids and my mother in the car with Randy. You'll see him on here sometimes. He'll log in. He's actually on vacation up near the same place right now with his family. And put all of the kids and my mother in the car with him, and I would drive my sister's car back with my sister there, and if it went into limp mode, they would go ahead and go home, and we would limp 4 hours back home, which would turn into 6, maybe 7 back home, and then come back later and pick up her car once they had programmed the key fobs. But the ladies didn't want to do that. They wanted to go ahead and stay another night because while the Randy and I were at Dollywood in the parking lot waiting for the tow truck, my 2 young nephews, they're brothers, they were wrestling on the bed, and one of them fell off and hit his eye, like right under the eyebrow, on the nightstand, and busted his eye open. Luckily, my sister's an RN, and it was all okay. It just looked horrible, and his mother wasn't there. She was back home, and so that was just another thing to come back, and the little fella, finally, by the time I got back, they made him stay awake. You know how when you hit your head, the baby made you stay awake. This ain't got nothing to do with drones. I know, but it's just my life. So we talk about things here. Sometimes it gets us on pretty little lists or whatever.
Did it have an aggressive limp mode? Did it allow you to drive at all? Or barely pull over?
Yeah, it had a pretty good limp mode on it. It was almost like it was, well, of course, Nissan has that CTR transmission, but it's almost like back in the day when a car would go into second gear and it was it. It would take off a little slow, but you get up about 45 and you was up there about as high as it was going to go without blowing your engine. So we could have gotten home with it. So the deacon graciously got a room. He didn't have any bags with him. Didn't have his medication, nothing like that. But he got another room just right underneath where we were staying. And so we get up. We have the car delivered to a dealership in Knoxville. They tell us what to do. They'll get started on it 8 o'clock in the morning. And by lunch, by the time we get there, they'll have the car done. We show up right before lunch. Or right, I guess 30 minutes before lunch, and we go in. My sister immediately is met by a salesman, and she's like, okay, let me see what the deals you got. She ends up buying a car. She ends up getting a 2020 Rogue, and
Randy is awesome like that.
yes he is, and so we I asked them about my mother's car, and they're like, what car are you talking about? We didn't get a black Rogue in last night. I'm like, are you kidding? So luckily, the tow truck guy told me the name of the person that he had talked to, which happened to be the sales manager, because service was closed. They found the car, but they didn't have the key fob, because he was supposed to put it in a night drop box, and he didn't. He placed it in an envelope and set it on the top of the tire and the fender well. So now they have it. They're going to look at it, and here we are. We got the kids. You know, everybody's ready to go. We are all had it, and you know, I'm being Mr. Grumpy Pastor. And my sister's trying to buy a car, and I'm like, listen, you don't need to be nice to them. But but Billy, the guy that sold us the car, was great. He did good. So they said it's going to be an hour and a half before they get the key fob program. Just go have lunch somewhere. An hour. No, 2 hours. They said it'd be 2 hours before they got the key fob program. We went and ate lunch. We come back and went in there. My sister.
Lol.
I kid you not, man. This is the story. My mother asked, because she felt all along when she was sitting in the car.
So you were being yourself, lol.
Oh yeah, my lovely self, and I resemble that comment. But in talking with him, my mom was like, well, if my car, because she felt, I went back to that, she felt all along that about halfway through the boy trying to program a key fob that he fried her computer. She said the lights and stuff did something weird, and she just said that she felt that God had told her that he's just fried your computer. And I stopped him when I come around and I saw him on YouTube. Guy's driving a Mercedes on the spot locksmith in the Knoxville and Sevierville area. Guy did not know what he was doing. I stopped him when I saw that he was literally on YouTube trying to figure out what he didn't know. And so we come back from lunch. Car's supposed to be fixed. And the service manager says, hey, was there something wrong with the computer brain in this car? And I was like, Yeah, yeah. The computer brain was all messed up. I towed it to Dollywood, put it in the parking lot. It sat there all night, and I waited around for 5.5 hours to have somebody tow it to you just so you could tell me it was messed up because I already knew it. No, dude, we drove it
No
there.
freaking way.
We drove it there. I drove it there. I just admit it. I drove it there. It was fine. Pulled the key out, handed it to my sisters. I saw it 2 or 3 times during the day that she had it in her little fanny pack. And it's gone. Just gone. Well, they get into looking, and there's 3 different kind of computer brains in 2016 Nissan Rogue, which my mother had. And the one in between the key fob brain and the main $6,000 computer brain, it burned up. They pulled one out of another car that just happened to be there being worked on or something, put it in, and it was like ready to go. So they're like, you know, this computer brain is going to cost like $800, and that's not including putting it in. And by the way, we would have to order it, and it won't be here till Saturday. That was a Thursday now. This is Thursday. Still, if you know, 1 or 2 o'clock, still have time that I can make it back and be on the stream. And but salespeople come up to my mother, and they run her credit and everything, and said that if there's something wrong with the car, we can definitely get you in a car, you know. And they're like, "No, we're gonna get this one fixed." Just, well, it come back that they could replace the $800 brain, but they're not for certain that it'd be able to program, and not for certain that it didn't do any damage to the main computer brain, which was $6,000. So after they told my mother that it was going to be all right, they'd get her in a car and everything, we sent the deacon home. My sister's got a new car. You know, I'm thinking worst case, I'll rent a car the rest of the way home and bring mom back down later. We spent another 4 or 5 hours because my mom and my sister both bought certified pre-owned used cars there. And got in them, got everything changed out.
$6,000 is insane for that.
Yeah, yes it is. And so, but long story short, they both got, my sister got a 2020, I believe it was. My mom got a 2023. And we eventually got home at or around or after midnight.
So it was a long day.
Oh my gosh. It was a long 4 days because on the way down there, we knew that her car was, and it was paid for. Her car was paid for. My mom still owed some money on hers, but they just rolled it over what she was upside down onto the new car. But she had it paid for, and so
nice.
We had a good time at the at Dollywood, but it was still always there. I was actually in between putting my nephew on a ride or my niece on a roller coaster because I was riding with them. I was also talking to the guy at the transmission shop. So yeah, that was. I think someone asked me yesterday. That's like, "How was your vacation?" For one, it wasn't a vacation because I knew it wouldn't have been, even in the best of situations, because I didn't go to relax and have a good time. I went to help my mother and my sister take care of 2 full tilt little boys. I mean, they're straight up boys. Thus the wrestling and falling off, and I thought the cut needed stitches, but my sister said it didn't. It didn't. It closed up fine and didn't end up being looking as bad as we thought it was going to. But that was my story of how I got trapped at Dollywood. I will tell you, the 5.5 hours just sitting there in the car, and I didn't bring anything. I didn't think it was going to be that long. So I'm literally drinking the melted ice from a Dollywood cup because that's all that I had there all day. So it was grueling. It was grueling, and especially for a fat boy, and walking 2 miles just to go pee was difficult. But we made it home. Everybody's all right. Everybody's healthy. Braden, the little boy with the eye cut, he didn't end up needing stitches or anything. By the time he woke up that night after they let him take a nap, he was running around. The sad part is that he'd get to running and stuff, and it would hurt him, and he'd start
My wife
to
totaled
rub
our
it.
Mitsubishi Turbo Lancer this morning. Pretty not awesome.
Oh, yes. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. Me personally, I hate having car trouble. It just grades on my last nerve. So that's the story why I wasn't here last week, and I wanted to. It's the reason why I haven't done anything else but hover this, and you're like, but you've been home. You've been home almost a week. It's like, yeah, but there was so much stuff that, yeah, it just grades on my nerves. But that extra, well, actually 2 days, because I was supposed to have been home Wednesday. So Wednesday and Thursday was out, and it hit, yeah. And in my life, me getting behind 2 days costs me. Let me turn this light to white to see if that helps. There you go. Costs me a whole lot more than 2 days. So I'm still playing catch up to all of that. Now, let's shift from my woe is me to back to drone stuff. One of the things I did in my testing, fly this little booger around. Let's see if I can remember what the. There we go. I did get to fly it around in this room here that I'm in, and I can tell. How's it going, Kevin? That I like the camera a lot better, but I do not like this camera mount. Yes, that's that. Thank you, Kevin. I should have asked that, but here I am in my own little world and my own little problems. I just assumed that she was because he didn't say anything. But so I don't like the canopy while we wait on. Yeah, she's okay. Great. All right. So here is the canopy that comes with the quad, and I like to protect especially the AIO here. So I'm wanting something that's more like a traditional canopy, and I printed some. Here's basically everything that I could find from. Let's zoom down. Give me a better look here. Here we go. Bear with me. There we go. All right. No. All right. So this is basically what the stuff that I found on Thingiverse, TPU. I mean, that's 100% infill. I mean, it's not, it's still a little flimsy. I don't care for them. I mean, the injected molding is harder, but it's, you know, I had a feeling this is going to break, especially if I put it on a UWL, which is what I want to put it on. This UWL. I found this canopy on Thingiverse, and it just slides in. It seems a little bit heavy, but here's what I found that I think I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with. This is an adapter ring. Yeah, it's an adapter ring that you slide over the lens, and it's got your screw holes in the side of it. And I have it. I put it on a Lux, and it makes it so you can fit it in to a canopy. Now, I've not screwed it down. I've just started literally messing with it today. So it just slides down over it like a little collar, and it gives you screw holes. And it's actually pretty tight. So, I mean, it is a possibility that it could slide out backwards, but I don't think that that's likely at all. But, you know, still have to see. And it just, if I can do it, it just slides in, and the screw holes match up. And I think that's what I'm going to go with on at least my UWL build, because I like something that protects more of, and see, this is not going on an AIO. This one right here is a UWL that I had the eco camera on it, and come on, there we go, and someone damaged theirs in the race, and this is my backup, so I just had one of the other racers desolder the eco camera and give it to him. So I'm going to go back with the Lux on it. But I'm looking, and you know, I'm trying to figure out the pin out. Anything. Where's it at? Oh, can you hear me now? You couldn't hear me on the other one. Can you hear me now? You can hear me now. You just couldn't hear me. let me go back, because I've got to go back to that screen, my Discord screen, and you you should hear something now. It should take it a second. You'll hear me now with my hands flashing. Okay, good. Yeah, that scene. Hang on, let me check it. It's I'm gonna have to turn. Hey, brother. All right, good. Let me see.
I'm good now.
But you can hear me. Thank you, brother. I think you can hear me here. Pretty sure you can hear me here. Let's go back. Let me copy this I got a new microphone and I didn't paste it into the disk.
Yay.
Okay. Now you can hear me in this one too. All right, I got that fixed. But what happened
Z
is
King FPV. Hello all.
all right. What I was talking about, I'll go back through it again. What I was talking about was I'm going to put this on. Notice here that it goes from right to left. It's 5-volt ground, C, which is camera, and O, which is OSD, I'm assuming. And you know, even the one that's in this picture from HDzero, this is already soldered up and all of that. So I'm trying to figure out what the Lux camera is, because let me show you. Let me do this way. And if you can see that, nothing. No instructions on the inside of what it is. And I've been looking around and looking for pinouts for the HDzero Lux camera, and I don't see it. It appears to be wired the same way that the Eco camera is wired. Hang on, let me show you. When the Eco gives you come on, get where it can see. There we go. Red, black, yellow, and white. And it says that it's volts, ground, video, and menu. I'm assuming menu is OSD. Because what other kind of menu does it have? So I'm thinking that it's going to go red, black, yellow, and white. So I'm going to try to solder this up. Try to find a screw that'll hold it in here. Where are we at? Solder up the Lux camera. It fits in this case with that sleeve on it just fine. Like I said, I haven't screwed it in yet, but now this is not the OG canopy. This hole is a little bit bigger. Let me show you. Hopefully I'll save you guys some trouble here. Here is the OG canopy for HDzero. This is the OG camera or canopy. The lens will not fit in it. Come on. So you can see that the black one here. Boom. You can see that the camera hole is wider. This is, I don't know. I really don't know what canopy this is. I got 3 or 4 of them. It's definitely not the latest Goober canopy, because it's even bigger. This would do the lens for the V3. So here's what I'm trying to tell you is here, if you don't like the Eco camera, the OG canopy will work with the light camera. The Goober canopy will work with the Nano V3, which is the best looking HDzero camera that will be on a light board. Or if you're going with either the Lux or the Eco camera that's going to be on the AIO, then this canopy here is actually a good canopy. I can look it up. I'm pretty sure this is by Newbie Drone, but I'm not for certain. I mean, we can look it up here in a minute if you guys want to. But this is what I wanted to share with you. I don't like these. I 3D printed them. This is done with the A1 Mini right over my shoulder here with 100% infill and bamboo filament. Now I did it fast, so, but these rings, this is what you need. Got a little stringy because these are just really test prints, and they ended up working out all right for me. So that just slides over the lens, and you can now take your Eco or your Lux camera and put it into a canopy. You can use your V3. Of course, that's a MIPI, and this is a MIPI. So I guess, long story short, I have found, I found canopies that will work with all three of the Whoop cameras that you would use on either 65 or 75 millimeter, maybe even an 85 millimeter build. So yeah, no having to go with this thing. All right, brother, thank you. It should be popping up here and showing me that you subbed here in a minute. How's it going, Tool Man? Thank you for the sub, brother. Z King, how's it going, brother? We need to get together and get us a race together, because it's going to be, holidays are going to be up on us, and nobody's going to be ready to do anything. Yeah, appreciate it, man. So yeah, those are the canopies that I like. You might like these 3D printed ones. That might help you a little bit with the little grip thing on the top of it. But I don't know. I haven't tried it. I mean, it's a lot heavier than this. This is probably close to as heavy as this with the camera in it. Let me see. I can tell you guys. Let's get a weight on it. But my hairy arm goes under the camera. So now I do have in my opinion, a better bench camera. People are like, why don't you get one that you can digitally zoom and all that? It's like, I'd have to keep up with the remote and all that stuff. So I'll just do it this way, and maybe it's not making anybody sick. So come on, that is touchy right there. All right, let's see. Slide out of the way. Here's this TPU canopy. Look at that. 3.6 grams. What is this one with the camera in it? 3.4 with the camera in it. One gram. So this is why I prefer the injection molded over the TPU. There's 0.8. But what is this? Same thing. 0.3. So yeah, I mean, TPU's heavier, and I don't, for the person that's eco for what's the antenna for? Is it for a whoop or what on your goggles? I like the ORT. Now I've used this one. This is a UWL build, and it needs to be a little bit heavy. So that's why I have this on here, because this thing is one of the heavier whoop antennas that you'll buy. So, and this is just my backup. I think I'm going to cut the cob LEDs off the front when I put the Lux camera. The Lux camera is going to go back on this one, and we'll get it set up. But talking about UWL and Toolman, I'm waiting on a little more information to tell you. There's if you're talking about a whoop, there's the ORT antenna, but this right here is the antenna that everybody is saying is, oh come on, with you bad self. This is the antenna that people are saying to use with the with your whoops, and it's just this. You stick this in the back side of your canopy, and all. I only have it on one whoop that I've not flown a lot, but I might switch it out on this one, being that I'm going to be tucking something up underneath the canopy on this canopy here. So and I think everybody pretty much, I know 533, that's for your goggles. The HDzero goggles, Fat Shark goggles. I use the True RC, but I use, because I fly mostly whoops and a lot of indoors with UWL and just regular 65 millimeter whoop races in the church. I use one similar to this. It's not the same. I use a linear patch, because most of these whoops, like this one, this is a little linear antenna on here, and if all you've got is right hand or left hand circular polarized antennas on your goggles, you're going to lose. This is what a lot of people are getting problems with, I feel, in the whoop races, is they get interference and everything because there's not the right polarity match in their goggles. So I have one of these. Newbie Drone's got one that's smaller, but it's just a linear patch, and it's going to work for any dipole, linear dipole antenna. So I got one of these.
It's insane!
Thank you, McFlies, for the $9.99. Dollywood dude. Dollywood dude. He's driving. Dollywood. Dollywood dude. Fun. No, I ain't going back no time soon. I don't plan to. But I use this, and I also use the Axie 2 on the front. So these are on the front, a linear patch on one side and the Axie 2 on the other side. and then I'll have stubbies if I'm inside or I'm flying close. I have Omni right-hand circular polarized stubbies on the top. Or if I'm in an environment where there's lots of multipathing and people flying analog. And let me say this: this is just my. And by the way, thank you, McFlies, for your super chat. It really helps out. My
What about Skyzone Cobra V4?
Skyzone Cobra V4s. Okay. Crosshair antenna really works good on that, and an Omni. That's probably what I would do. An omnidirectional and a crosshair on my analog HDO2s back before I got the HDzero module on it. I run a crosshair, IB Crazies, VAS Video Aerial Systems crosshair, and a some type of circular polarized lollipop, stubby, something like that on it. And if I was going to be flying out around somebody, I always get something to get your Omni up over the top of your head, because
Let me see, give me a sec and I fly the TinyWhoop fractal.
you fly the TinyWhoop fractal. Okay, then yeah, if you go with something like the TBS micro, this is a linear. So what I would do is get like either the let me turn my bench back on. If you go with something like the TBS micro, this is a linear, then I would put some type of linear patch on it, and that's why a lot of times people, when you're at whoop races and there's a lot of people, they'll tell you to remove your antennas, and that's because you're picking up noise, and you're picking up right-hand and left-hand circular polarized and multipathing and all of this. So yeah, that's what I would do. I'd put something on. The linear patch is going to help you it's going to help you fix that, I think. And what I was saying earlier is there's a lot of talk now about HDzero stepping on analog and analog stepping on HDzero. Z King and I, we run quite a few races together, and both of us fly HDzero, and he flies analog some. He's more making the move to almost exclusive HDzero. But what we are finding is yeah, send me a photo.
Which antennas are you running on your HDzero goggles? I will send you a photo.
Well, let me reach over here and grab my HDzero goggles, and I'll show you guys. Are you going to put that picture, Tool Man, in the Discord? Ow. Oh, my camera tried to follow me, didn't it? Come on back home. Hang on. Come on. Come on, camera. Come back home. There we go. Okay. That's what I get for trying to walk away. All right, let me get my googles out, and I will show you. I generally leave my goggles loaded like this because it's like a best all around for what I fly. So this is what I'm
That's
telling
all
you.
I fly is analog, remember craft.
Okay. Then, and so it depends on what antennas are on your craft. No, tighten this down. So, all right. So this is my setup right out of the box. I will.
Velocidrone. I got a new computer and I've been training.
All right. I got a new computer too. I've meant to be on more. So this is what I fly right out of the bag. I've got two Omnis on top. I've got the right-hand circular polarized True RC Axie 2, and then this is an updated version of the Bandicoot
Okay, wow.
linear patch. And this thing here, this is, I don't know if you can see it on the back side. Let me, boom. You see that there? Linear. I don't know if you can read that. Yeah, 5.8 linear. This here. Oops.
Too much for me.
Yeah, you're only going to need two. But this, it's backwards. This here makes all the difference in a whoop race when I'm flying against other people that have like a Mobula 6 or Meteor 65 stuff where their VTXs aren't exactly right and they're up and down. This here, because I watch it on my OSD and I can see that this stays picking up a lot longer than most. And when this thing starts to drop, these will pick up because I'm usually going through a wall or something like that. But you need to keep your head faced to where you're at. And if you're in a place where there's a lot of people, or it's a big venue like I'm flying at the gym or something like that, I keep different. I will usually take and put these on top instead of the Omnis, and the purpose for that is to literally get the antennas up above my head, because any radio signal is
Interesting setup, thanks.
Radio signal is denigrated by water. That's why in the summer when there's leaves on the trees, you don't get as much range as you do when the leaves are off the trees, and it's not as much the leaves themselves as it is the water in the leaves. And your head, you might have been told your whole life that your head was filled with air, but your head is a very watery meat. And so if you got stubbies on there like what I've got here, and you put this on your face and you fly behind you, your meathead has just blocked this signal, and that's what causes a lot of problems for people. But trust me, this right here, if you haven't, even if you just got an analog quad with analog goggles, try right-hand circular polarized and go fly around your house, or go fly, most in the South right now, most Bradford pears, if I don't know if y'all have those, but common around here, most Bradford pears still have their leaves, and they're still relatively green right now. Just go fly behind one of those with even the axis, and double the axis, but then when you put this on, if it is a dipole whoop, you will immediately see the difference. You will see what that 2 to 3 dB loss that you're getting, at least, causes. If you are a whoop pilot, and if you're not at the place to change your whoops over to right-hand circular polarized antennas on your whoops, then I cannot recommend enough that you go with a linear antenna. The Menace is a good one. I think I dropped it. No, I got it back up. And here is the Bandicoot Menace. Both, you will notice a difference in them. Let me see if I can find the...
IDM you on Gmail.
Okay. On Gmail. Let me see if I can find this other... Yeah, right here it is. Here's the other one. This one's like $9, guys. It's not as good, in my opinion, as the Menace. Bench. Here it is. In my opinion, it's not as good as the Menace, but it is a linear patch antenna, and this is better than running an expensive axis if you're flying whoops that have dipole antennas on them. My setup, if I switch to this, because that's right-hand circular polarized, the axes are going to pick them up just fine. So yeah, I think a lot of the problems that people are experiencing in whoop races is, one, they're not properly matched polarity wise with their quad, and then when you get the situation of Mobula 6, I flew the I'm not knocking this at all. The Mobula 6 AIO, one with the green frame and all of that, back before the 2024, was my go-to whoop racer. I liked it. I used it. And it was just my go-to. But it's known for, at least it's generally either at the front of the band or toward the end of the band, that it could be off significantly. I've seen people set it to 25 milliwatts, and I ask them to change to R8, and they start stepping on everybody. And then you look at it in the RF Explorer, and their output power has gone from 25 milliwatts to 50 to 75 to 100. So yeah, if you will, smash that like button for me if you haven't already, and subscribe if you haven't. It helps. Just a reminder, it does help push the content out there to other people. So again, that's not a scientific test. It's just sitting behind the timer and sitting behind the mechanics, if you will, of a Whoop race and an RF Explorer, which is not cheap. I think a lot of problems can be fixed by having the right antennas on your quad. So if you're flying right-hand circular polarized, have right-hand circular polarized. That's the number one rule. If you're flying linear, then get you a linear. This is $9. The last I checked, it was $9, and maybe with Black Friday, you might be able to get it for $5 or $6. I don't know. This, it's not as good as the Menace, and the other Menace that I've got on my goggles is even a little better than this. But these are night and day difference from a stubby that you just throw on your goggles and say, just do whatever. I did that. I did that for years, and I've been in the hobby for a long time. And RC, radio control, and all of that for a long time. And I have a ham radio license, so I took the course, and there's a big part in that about antennas and how you use them and all of that. So let me see. I'm going to look on my phone for your. I don't have my Gmail account on my iMac or my Mac Mini. All right. Which Gmail did you send it to?
Lol.
You send it to the one in the PhatPastor. Okay. I think I got it.
Been flying since the early 70s.
Hey, well, that's good. You've been flying a lot longer than I have then, man. I was born in 74. Oh yeah. Let me send these to my
Double A. Patches a higher dB or something, right? More powerful.
Yeah. So what you got here, Toolman, is let me see. I don't know if this will work. Let's see if this will work. Yeah. What we got here is a set of box goggles, and he's got two Fox Ear Lollipop stubbies. For one, take those off and shake them. And if they're rattling, you probably need to get new ones. But what I would recommend is something just like this. Put this on the top of that, and it is, oops.
PhatPastor cool.
And it's got the angle thing on it. So when you put it on there, it's going to be sitting on top of it like, well, like so. It's going to be a little tilted up, but that's good because most people tilt their head down a little bit. I would put one of these on there. You get or you can get one of the newbie drone ones, but you just have to get you an elbow put on. You're going to get a little bit of loss through the elbow, but it's still going to be better if you're flying linear patches. I mean, if you're flying linear, if you if you're flying only right-hand circular polarized, then adding a patch.
Aren't they like 3 to 5 decibels?
For, what are you talking about, a patch? 3 to 5? Are you talking about the loss? It's about 3 to 5. Yeah, they can be. I think it's more of an average of around 2 if you got them seated in there good. And but I think what you end up increasing with the
Gain.
yeah, I think what you end up with at the end, the gain that you end up getting by a correct polarity match outweighs the loss that you would get from putting another joint in there. So I hope that answers your question, Toolman. If not, keep asking. And even if everything that you are flying is all right, brother. Take care, man. Tell heads I said hey. Yes. You got to keep your head pointed that way. Yeah. But, in most whoop races and stuff, you're not normally flying behind you. And if you're outside flying around and you're just having fun, like I said, those stubbies aren't going to work good because you need to get it up over your meat head. So, yeah, that's my answer. So appreciate the question. Now, any other questions about antennas or canopies for HDzero, or how to hook up the eco board with the Lux camera or whatever?
Circulars are for the edges. Use one of each in the same polarity.
Yeah. But you got to get them up over your head. If you fly back behind yourself, you're cutting it off. You make it almost like a half-witted patch. If your stubby's right here and you fly back behind you, you're blocking. Especially if you put your head down and it's going through the majority of your head, you're blocking a lot of your signal. Get it up there make yourself look like a bug. Get it up there so it would help. Now, this brings me to another topic that I've been wanting to talk about, and that is, where was it? Right here.
If you guys weren't already...
Whoop.
I like the stubbies in 3 to 5 inch leads.
All right. Here's, I've got the mushrooms, the mad mushrooms. I think that's what they're called. VAS. They work pretty good. Stick up over my head pretty good. Okay. Shifting gears. Oh, what's that? Does that dance look familiar? All right. I don't mean to start stuff. Did I just kill the... I need to make sure that I didn't kill the chat. All right, it's still working. All right, this is what.
Hello.
This is something I want to talk about. Double A says that he likes 3 to 5 inch leads. Yep. Got to get it over that melon.
I'm alive. Alive.
That's right. Yep. Alive. All right, here is Underground Whoop League, or Underground Drone League. They've made some changes. For one, they have two. They have a 65 millimeter, which is just pretty much open class 65 millimeter, and they have their 75 millimeter UDL, UWL, whatever they're calling it, but it's changed. And I want to get your guys' opinion on it. I want to play. I'm not going to play all this video, but I'm going to play a little bit of it, and yeah, let me know what you think.
Be aware, the version of the RPM limiter that we've been using has received an update, and so if you try to go flash it, it'll work, but it's actually going to, in the background, give you an updated version of that RPM limiter. And so what that means is that everybody out there right now is in a place where we have to flash our quads, and I figure now's as good of a time as any to push the spec class over to the Street League version of the RPM limiter. And the Street League version has a number of benefits. It gives me a little bit more control over determining exactly how these quads can fly. We've been testing it, and I'm actually having a lot more fun flying now with the Street League RPM limiter compared to before. And one of the other huge benefits that we get is that we now have boost mode. And so what that means is that you'll be able to flip a switch on your radio and your quad will get a temporary boost as you're flying. So that can help you take some tough turns or be able to pass people, that sort of thing. There's going to be more information on that, but bottom.
Okay. There's mixed feelings from what I've seen already, or what I've heard already, about boost mode in UWL. I have never. Let me preface this. I have never flown Street League. I'm just not interested in that. I don't have time. If I was
boost on the whoops. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel on that. I think it could. Yeah, you got to run CAC anyway.
CAC.
So you do have to run CAC anyway, and but I don't know about the boost. I mean, I've heard. Matter of fact, everybody that's contacted me about it is like, man, this is gonna suck. Having boost mode in the UWL races. One, you don't have to do that in your chapter if you don't want to. That's only if you want to be, in the UDL. And I've had people ask me, is the UDL, have they broke ties with multi-GP like Street League did? I did notice that some of the chapters that are running UDL races, they're not running them through multi-GP. So I don't know. I don't know where all of that's going. And all I have.
Just tell them left, right, A, B, start, grin.
Yeah. Left, right, left, A, B, B, A, start, right? Yeah. Wasn't that the cheat codes on old Nintendo? But
GTG Infinity is live, slightly smiling face.
All right, brother. Yeah, well, tell heads I said, hey, yeah, we overlap. I mean, some heads, good friend of mine. Go over there and tell him I said hello. So great guy. But what's your thoughts, guys, that about boost mode? Me myself, I don't know how I feel about it. I and one aspect, it sounds like it might be cool, it might be fun, it might add another dimension to the race that's that adds fun to it. But also, now you got a flash an even more complicated version of CAC. You have to fight. You have to do the. I guess it's a nightly build of Street League. It's SL. So it's it's going the barrier for entering it's going to be even a little bit higher. And everybody's going to have to flash their stuff up to the Street League stuff now, and I have a hard time around
Boosted
here.
Baby, smoke 'em if ya got 'em, is what I say.
Right. I have a hard enough time here at races around here getting pilots to set up smart audio correctly, where they can change their VTX tables, and so having them do all of that,
I don't race, have no one to fly with. I fly alone all the time.
Where do you live, Raymond? What area do you live? One of the and see, multi-GP is another good way to find people to fly with. You just look for races in your area, and whether you want to race or not, just show up. Show up and tell them, if nothing else, I'm here to help you set up or tear down or whatever. And trust me, from a race coordinator standpoint and a chapter organizer, that will get people's attention. If you show up like, well, I'm not really prepared to start racing. I just come to kind of meet people. Is there something I can do to help? And you'd be like, yeah, take that flag, take that flag down for me, and bring it over here. That kind of stuff, it helps. It actually helps a lot, and it's a good way to meet people. It's a good way to find people to fly with, and all of that. So I recommend, wherever you're at, just look up the nearest MultiGP chapter that you got. Hopefully they'll be having some indoor whoop races or UWL races or something.
Here is the thing. If a new pilot can figure out how to get this on his whoop and it helped, go for it. Progress is progress. In California, in a small town.
Yeah, there should be people around. Here's what I tell people. And of course, I'm on the other side of the country in Tennessee. And one of the things that we run into, Z King and myself, we have neighboring multi-GP chapters, and we're both managers of...
If it is a matter of unfairness, the brackets will allot for that.
Yeah, I'm not thinking it's as much unfairness that people are talking about with the boost. It's just another thing that complicates it, and because I'm constantly trying to get new pilots into racing, and whoops, for me, whoops have been the easiest way to do that. And UWL's fun. It's it seems like a lot of newer pilots like it faster than 65mm racing. You're flying in a bigger area. and you got a little bit more stable quad that's tuned down a little bit. But when you start getting into all the CAC, and you got to do a lot of it for them, and me, I'm one. I know. Just maybe because I'm old. I'm one that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I literally got some quads on the wall back behind my computer screens here. One right there that I'm looking at right there, I know has 3.5.7 or 3.5.1, whichever one that good beta flight was years ago. And it flies fine. So I'm not going to update.
Boosting will not hinder that IMO. It very well could cause excitement in a pilot.
Right. Yeah, now see, like I said, I've never flown it. I've never flown Street League or whatever. I know that people that have, man, they liked it. I also know from what I've heard from people that, there was the Street League controversy and the parting of ways with multi-GP, and I don't know if UWL has done that. I've had several people ask me, and I just I don't know. I kind of want to stay out of it as much as I can. So that's why I'm saying, if you're a chapter organizer, you don't have to. We actually did a UWL, and Z King and myself, we have CAC set up on our quads.
The younger kids might think that is cool, and it'd be the reason they participate.
Very well may be, double A. But we had a young man that, well, when I say young, he's 40. So take that compliment, Mike, while you can get it. He had I think it was a Meteor 65, but it didn't have CAC or anything like that on it. And we wanted him to race, so we just turned our RPM limit off. And we wasn't racing with CAC or an RPM limiter. We had LEDs. He didn't. I could tell when Z King passed me, or he could tell when I passed him, but it was harder to see when the other guy. So I definitely understand the reason behind the LEDs. But again, I said all that to say, if you're your chapter coordinator or chapter organizer or a race conductor or whatever, race with the people that you got, and yeah, at some point as
try
as
not
you
to
grow,
stifle innovation or thrill.
yeah. We definitely need innovation, and the younger kids might think, and hey, don't get me wrong, like I said, I've never flown it. I've never done it. I may love Boost. I may come back to you guys here in a few weeks and be like, man, Boost is really added a whole new dynamic and a whole new dimension to the UWL spec. And so yeah, I'm not saying I'm against it. I don't know. I have had people message me and say, oh man, UDL just went to Street League and added boost mode, and that's not good. I haven't had time to ask them why that's not good, but I do agree that innovation is what keeps this hobby going and all of that. So I'm all for it. And the same people would say that there's not enough innovation in this hobby, or could be the same people that say, I don't like that. I don't like this, that either. So, you know, if you've been in this hobby long enough, you will know that a
Me
lot
either,
of
but I would not be hurt if someone else was using it. Might even get me to flash, EGH.
right, right. If you've been in this hobby long enough to know, there's a lot of us that are I'm trying to find the right word here. Eccentric people. Generally, the people that stay in FPV, um, they're either stubborn or real tech savvy, something like that. There's usually it's usually not your average Joe that that is going to stay in this hobby.
Wait a minute. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, yeah. What you talking about?
Like to fly.
Yep. That's it, man. That's the thing. That's the thing that I keep telling everybody. Fly what you got, for one, and because there's a whole lot of people that'll tell you, well, you need these goggles, or
Open
you,
mouth, smile, open mouth, smile, open mouth, smile, open mouth, smile, open mouth, smile.
people will tell you that you need this, these goggles, or you need this quad, or you need this setting or that setting. What I say is fly what you got, and once you get good at flying what you got, get you something better. Trade up. I started off with box goggles, and then went to the Eachine EV 100s, and I just gave them away at the last race to one of the deacons' grandson.
Race or freestyle yourself. Beat yourself every time.
That's it. Race yourself. Yep. Push yourself. And it's also good to fly with buddies and stuff. But I can remember just a few summers ago going out and flying around, setting the gates up around in my yard and flying over 100 packs a day, just ripping this little peanut right here. This little thing, man, I've probably put 4,000 or 5,000 packs through this thing, and flew it around. It's a good little racer to fly in your yard. Set up some gates, and at that point, I was just flying with the puck, so I was racing myself, getting better, faster laps, and like I said, I did it all day long. So we will see. I'm going to look into once I get this one with the camera on it that I want. I've got another one that I want to put LEDs on to sell, or whatever. I give a lot of stuff away, but I've been doing good, man. Besides getting trapped in Dollywood, like I did, that was an ordeal. If you missed it, go back to the first of the stream. You can see that. You get the long story there of what happened with that. But yeah, I've been doing good, man. Just busy. Like I said, I mean, I've got the freestyle. I got it back before I went to Dollywood. I've had this thing 2, maybe 3 weeks, and it's bound, test hovered and all of that, but I still haven't done the maiden flight on it. Seems like when the weather's good and I could get outside to fly it, I've got too much to do. And days that I have some free time, it's raining, and I used to go over. Yeah, it's changed. It's gotten quite a bit bigger, but all the old stuff is still there. My nephews really enjoyed riding the train, and a true 1930s Baldwin steam locomotive. So they really liked that, and had a good time. One of them wanted to see Santa, and the other one did not, because it was Santa's naughty or nice list, is what they called it. And my older nephew, the oldest one, he didn't want no part of that. And the middle-aged one, oh, what is it saying here? Okay. Am I still there? Okay. Yeah, my feed
Yep,
just
that is
dropped.
a cool feature of Dollywood for sure. The train. Loved it.
Okay. Yeah, something. Yeah, okay. So I'm still on, right? Yep, it's counting down. My, okay.
Hello.
Yep. The YouTube studio just said, "Oh snap!" Looked like, and then it showed it
Yeah.
it's failed, but don't look like I dropped any frames or anything. Looks like it's still good. So, yeah, I think we're doing all right. All right. So,
Yeah.
good. Good. Thank you. Maybe it's because I let my iPad, not my phone, lapse. So, all right, cool beans. I don't know what that was, but it's fine. It's everything that has my analytics and the chat and everything on it. It just shut down. That page just shut down and said, "Oh snap!" You know, something happened, and I refreshed the page and it was back. So good. All right, well, I'm gonna try to screw this canopy in and do a little work here. So if you guys have any questions or anything, just pop them up or ask them. I've covered most of the stuff that I wanted to cover in tonight's stream. So I'm going to do a little bit of work here before I log off for the night. Understand some of you like to jump over to heads and all of that, and I will never tell people not to do that. Heads is a great guy, and he's helped me immensely in setting up. He actually gave me a stream deck that I use to remind you to subscribe and hit the thumbs up. Remind you to smash the like button. All of that come from Heads, so he's a great guy. But something something else. Now that I have the freestyle and the race, I have every HDzero 65mm.
Heads is pretty cool. PP.
Yep, yes he is. Even the newbie drone 65mm. So I have every 65mm bind and fly HDzero whoop that's been made. So maybe it's my intentions to do a shootout with all of them. The OG, the V3, the newbie drone, the race, and the Lux, and just compare everything. Flight time, cameras, all of this, and give you guys something to compare there.
So you are running full HDZ whoops now. Light.
That's it. That's all. I haven't flown an analog whoop except to now I've got my bifocals on because I'm going to try to put this screw in this canopy. So if you see me doing this, it's because look at my eyes. I'm trying. It's where I can read. The only time I'm flying analog, excuse me, is if I'm setting one up for somebody else now. Let me say that again. I moved away from the microphone. The only time I'm flying analog now is if I am setting one up for somebody else. I just Evan has got a video out today. 533. He's got a video about does weight matter? And let me preface this comment that I'm about to make with a caveat. And I want to look into the camera. Evan Turner and Mondo have forgot more about they forgot more about FPV than I know, I believe. But here's my 2 cents because it's my channel. I fly fat whoops. This has 2 boards on it. And what I've learned is, Evan talked in his video. Go watch it. I'm not going to play it here. He talked about, he did a good little test where he held the whoop and he pulled it full throttle and he's seen how much G-forces it pulled. And there wasn't much difference between 15 and 16 grams. But there was between 16 and 17. But there wasn't much difference between 17 and 18. So it was not a linear curve at all. It's and of course it was, he just held on to it. But here's my take on it, and I'll probably go back and watch it again and put it in the comments for him. Is and hey, there's nothing wrong with analog, man. Fly what you got, brother. And if you got something to fly, you're blessed. Fly it. But what I've learned, because one, I would rather see clear. Which, look, I mean, I just showed you guys. I'm sitting here with not bifocals, trifocals on. I have another set of glasses that I normally wear on the stream. That's just my middle, the bifocal part, and it, that's this one, so I can read the screen, and then this one is so I can see up close. But these are just there's no lines in them, so I don't see well especially after my head injury. So I want to see well when I'm flying, and I don't care what people say. This is my opinion, and it is subjective, though I feel that it is not subjective. I feel that all HDzero now, even the eco camera,
lighter whoops are for the faster pilots. I agree to your point as to not making any difference till the throttle gets pegged.
Well, but here's the thing. Going back to this, and because I've bought those 15-gram quads, those 15-gram 15 gram quads, those 15 gram 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 15 18 to 20 gram whoop to fly just as fast, to corner just as good, and all of that by simply putting higher KV motors on them. 32,000, 42,000, or 36,000, 42,000 RPM or KV whoop motors will make up the difference, because what I've, at least on my end, and I'm not Evan, and I agree with Mondo says it in the video. He says, for you, Evan, I think it's going to make the difference, but for the average pilot, it's probably not going to make that much difference. To me, it's all about thrust to weight ratio. For one, I sold the 15 gram quads, the 16 gram quads, because they were too floaty. I have gotten used to flying a PhatWhoop to the point that when I let off the throttle, I want it to drop. And the problem that I was so used to flying a quad that when I let off the throttle, the weight would just drop. And if I needed it to come back, I had all the power that I needed. I could race just as fast. And I'm convinced that in some of my PhatWhoops that weigh 20 plus grams, in a straight drag race, if we launched against some of those 16 gram 28,000, 26,000 kV quads, I'm convinced that I could keep up with that hands down, because I'm putting 38,000 or 42,000 kV motors on it. So it's kind of like drag racing. You can drag race in a lighter class, which has a smaller engine in it. But when you go up to a bigger class that has a bigger engine in it, that doesn't mean that bigger, heavier dragster is slower. It means it's got a bigger engine in it. It takes it longer to stop and all of that, which you could argue that's probably what Evan is seeing.
Kinetic energy, maybe.
Yeah, but even if you, it's like the Racer 4. He put out a video just earlier. The Racer 4 is a pig. The thing is heavy, and they talk about it flying good. And it may be that I'm just used to flying fat quads, because my favorites are HDzero whoops and the Tiny Trainer and the Racer X. I don't fly a lot of super light, and matter of fact, I've flown people's switchbacks on 6S and things like that, and I don't prefer it. I don't like it. It's too floaty for me. I don't prefer 5-inch, because I can, with my racing skills, I can fly a 3.5 to 4-inch on 4S just as fast or faster than I was flying 5-inch. So I think it all comes down to thrust to weight. I mean, even in your turns, thrust to weight. I mean, if you're heavier in the turn, if you've got enough thrust to compensate that, it's 6 one way, half a dozen another. I think the only time you see difference is when you're coming off the throttle, or you're in what we would consider like a coast, when you're killing the throttle and the quad is basically in coast. You can have less throttle, but probably less battery. Definitely, I think that's an area that, if you're doing battery to battery, that is definitely an area that heavier quads will make a difference. But my belief is if you're flying a 16 gram quad and the thrust to weight ratio is thrust to weight ratio, remember, because you're doing it against the weight. If that's 2 to 1, 3 to 1, let's say 3 to 1 on a 16 gram quad, but it's also 3-to-1 on a 20-gram quad. Then you can fly just as fast on the same prop with, because you got a higher KV, you're going to spin it up faster. You can turn just as sharp because the thrust versus the weight is the same. And so for me, the only place I noticed the difference was in when you would let off the throttle and the floatiness, or when you would coast as you're letting off the throttle. A heavier quad has more mass. You see this in freestyling. You know, if you build a freestyle quad that's too light, you can't throw it as good as you can a heavier quad. Even if your thrust to weight, or even if you have the same amount of thrust that you feel, if your thrust to weight ratio goes down, it's going to be more floaty.
That is kinetic energy,
yep,
right?
Yep.
Thrust to weight.
Yep, kinetic energy. So I prefer the way a heavier quad sinks when I want it to sink. When I let off that throttle, I want it to drop. And maybe that's because what I've gotten used to. I'm sure it probably is. But yeah, if the kinetic energy is the same, but a heavier quad's going to have more kinetic energy, but it's got more power to overcome that kinetic energy. So that's my argument. That's PhatPastor's 2 cents on that. And you know, my 2 cents, I wouldn't begin to claim that it is worth half of the knowledge of Mondo or Evan alone, much less them combined, and they do a lot of stuff together. So listen to 533. These guys will lead you right. I believe that strongly. So I'm going to try to find a screw.
Thanks for the sub.
All right, Sharma. Thanks, man. Thank you for the sub. I really appreciate it. All right, let me see if I can get this. I want to see if I can get this canopy on and solder it up. How have you been doing, Double A? I know you was asking about me. I don't want to be rude. Now that I've got my talking points through. How are you, brother? Hope life's treating you well.
I went down this rabbit hole with archery. I like heavy bows and match my arrow weight with my poundage.
Yep. There you go. That's everything is it, you know, when you start talking about pros and stuff, and that's definitely what Evan and Mondo are. I mean, they know so much, but it doesn't mean that because it worked for them that that's going to work for you. Like you said in archery, you know, if you are more accurate with a heavier bow and heavier bolts.
I am still working on the house. Doing good, but my back has slowed me way down. No time limit though.
Boy, I tell you, it seems I've gotten a lot busier this year, and my kidney stones have gotten worse this year, and man, it's been
always feeling blessed.
Yes, amen to that, brother. You know, that's old. I was reminded of that old saying when I was at Dollywood. My feet got to hurting me. I was carrying one of my nephews on my shoulders when he was awake. Thank God he did take about a 2-hour, 3-hour nap in the middle of all of it. But I got to complaining that my feet was hurting, And then I saw a man come by in a, he looked like a veteran in a wheelchair, and he didn't have anything from the knees down. So yeah, we can always find people in a worse situation than we are. But you know, it helped to remind me that I am blessed, but it didn't stop my feet from hurting. So it just made me glad that I had feet, that I could get up around and walk, and I could carry my great nephews. And if you're watching, Weston or Braden, you are great. So, all right, that fit in that canopy. Good. I just screwed it right in, and it fit in good. So I'm going to try to solder it up in the same order as it comes out of the back here. And yeah, we will see. Looks camera. So, all right, you're going to see the top of my head a lot, guys. Good night, Raymond. That's right. That's right. They were hurting because this fat boy was still walking around on them. So, are you close to getting done with the work on the house? Or is this a long multi-year project? To, like, my parents used to do that when I was growing up. My parents would take a place, and it would they would do the living room first, or they would do a bathroom, and then they would stop, and then they would do literally move a kitchen to another part of the house or something. And so they were constantly doing home improvement. So got a good report today, guys. Those of you that still watching, my mother, she's come on the channel here before, and actually on my 50th birthday, she come on and was telling you guys about young PhatPastor. And she had a, that's good, man. She had a spot on her lungs. Of course, she's got COPD, and she had COVID pneumonia. And try not to pay a whole lot of attention to my top of my head. I could turn that camera off, but that's all right. Y'all have already seen it. I'm going to tin this up right here. Two pads wanting to bridge here. We don't need that. Let me get the solder wick. Probably got a little bit too much solder on it. Why is that keep on bridging? Ow. It's trying to bridge. There we go. It had some wire left on there. Okay. Now let's see if we can wire up this Lux camera. Let's go with the hot. Yeah, this is going to get a bit boring, guys, but I'll talk to you while I'm doing it. And no, those need to be tinned. I need to tin my wires. But let me remove this so you guys can see some of what I'm doing, maybe. We still got a few people watching. All right, that's all right. Let's try this again. The hot. Come on. What's on my soldering iron? All right. All right, brother. Take care, man. Take care, brother. I want to solder this up, and then I'll be logging off for the night. So, if you have your questions or comments or anything like that, go ahead and get them in. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on here tonight. It's been a good stream tonight. Thank everybody for the subs. Really appreciate the new subs and the super chat. Those make a difference. Oh, come on. I'm getting shaky. Yellow. Let me get some tweezers, make this a little more easy. There we go. Sorry about that. I just want to see it. Like to get something accomplished on these builds. Let me check that. Looks all right. Let's see if it's going to project an image. All right. Got my HDzero screen. I want to turn it on, and it's on. Let's just set it up here, and let's plug a battery in. Please, no smoke. All right. Here is the Lux camera. And the battery just died. I hope it died. I hope that was the battery. Let me see. Another. Yep. Yep. There we go. Okay. I'll button it up and got another UWL. I'll fix these cobs later off of the stream. And I want to thank everybody. Hang on. I want to thank everybody tonight for your comments and your subscriptions and your super chats and all of that, for just being a part of Hang Time with PhatPastor. And it's not a profound channel or anything like that. It's just me and you guys get together and share the thing that we love, which is this hobby. So if you would, if you haven't already, smash that like button.
Pastor Larry. Night.
Good night, brother. Good night, Pastor Larry. So, yep. And if you haven't subscribed, you think about doing it, don't cost you anything. It's free. Kind of like leaving a tip. So, I want to thank you for all of that. And thank all of my subscribers, all of the members on the channel. I want to thank you. Big shout out to all of you guys. Remember, wherever you're at and whatever you're doing, keep flying and rise up and meet me in the air. God bless you.